In other news related to Charlie Kirk, South Park has pulled their episode of Cartman, playing Charlie Kirk, essentially. Comedy Central pulls Charlie Kirk South Park episode after assassination. The decision to pull the episode came as there were a number of social media posts online accusing the network of contributed to the hatred and anger against Kirk. I disagree with this decision. Charlie Kirk himself even enjoyed the episode, and I don't think this incited violence. I genuinely don't think this episode incited violence. It was a good episode. Charlie Kirk liked it. JD Vance liked the episode. They shouldn't have pulled this episode. If anything, it makes them look more guilty by pulling the episode. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon making fun of so many different people. If someone went and hurt Caitlyn Jenner, would they remove all the episodes making fun of her? I mean, they have episodes of Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, whatever his name is, running over people in the South. Like, when they make fun of Charlie Kirk in this episode, literally, he doesn't say anything wrong. He's saying nothing but facts and then just destroying people in debates, which is what he does. That's literally what he does. There was nothing wrong with the episode. Like, this is not a precedent that we should have set, especially when Charlie Kirk said he was okay with the episode. Comedy Central has pulled one of their latest episodes mocking Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk after he was assassinated on Wednesday, although Kirk took the episode in stride at the time, even posting the image satirizing him as his social media profile picture. The episode mocked the debates he engaged with on college campuses. The company owned by Paramount, Skydance, pulled a rerun of the episode called Got a Nut from a lineup for cable television on Wednesday evening. Kirk was killed earlier that day while he was speaking to college students at Utah Valley University. Comedy Central instead pushed episode 1 from season 27 of South Park to the slot, per the New York Post. So they were doing reruns, and instead of doing this episode, they just did the first episode of the season. Which, if this is the argument, right, then I guess they just need to remove the whole season, because it's all making fun of Republicans, right? They just need to remove the whole season now because it's making fun of... No, it's stupid. This is stupid. This doesn't solve anything. This doesn't fix anything by removing this episode. Charlie was happy to be included in this. The decision to pull the episode came as there were a number of social media posts online accusing the network of contributing to the hatred and anger online against Kirk. One viral post from the X account read that South Park skipped 4 years of Biden just to demonize a guy who does speaking events. Charlie Kirk did nothing wrong. I don't think they demonized him in this event. I understand that people are angry. I understand that you guys want to pin the blame on someone, but South Park is not to blame for this senseless attack. South Park did not encourage this. They did not encourage Charlie Kirk to ever even be hurt. The episode was done tastefully, and even Kirk himself enjoyed it. JD Vance, Charlie Kirk embrace South Park parody of themselves. Quote, "Well, I've finally made it," quipped Vance. Vance even shared a picture of himself as this little dwarf dude that they have of him in South Park, and he was like, "Guess I finally made it." They enjoyed the episode. Vice President JD Vance was spoofed by South Park on their second episode of their 27th season this week, as was TP USA's Charlie Kirk. Both men embraced their portrayals. "Well, I've finally made it," quipped Vance. The animators portrayed Vance as a tattoo from the 1970s show Fantasy Island, with Mar-a-Lago as the island and President Trump in the role of Ricardo Montalban's Mr. Rourke. Vance has been relentlessly memed. "Well, I've finally made it." Yeah, here's the tweet from JD Vance. "I finally made it." Kirk was portrayed by the character Eric Cartman, who was attempting to be like Kirk. Kirk spoke about the episode on the Charlie Kirk Show on Thursday morning. "First of all, I just think it's hilarious," Kirk said. "And secondly, the whole thing is like, so a campus thing I've been doing for 13 years to debate college kids now gets prominent primetime placement on Comedy Central. I think the whole thing is just awesome." Charlie Kirk thought the episode of him being included was awesome. He would want this episode to stay up. He would want this episode to stay up. The people advocating for this episode to be removed are just emotionally charged and need to rethink the decision.
So you can shut up, baby. You just hate America and you love abortions.
It's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen.
First of all, I just think it's hilarious.
So
and secondly, the whole thing is like, wait, so a campus thing I've been doing for 13 years to debate random college kids has now been so important that it gets prominent primetime placement on Comedy Central. I think the whole thing is just awesome.
I mean, I wasn't ready for that beginning clip. That was hilarious. But yeah, there's Charlie Kirk himself enjoying and laughing at himself being made fun of in South Park. He thought it was awesome. South Park has taken aim at many celebrities over the years, and as they begin their 27th season, now with a 5-year, $1.5 billion contract from Paramount, they've taken to skewering the second Trump administration. In the episode, they show the stalwart school counselor, Mr. Garrison, losing his job, accepting a position with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The portrayal of ICE on South Park was posted by the ICE social media account, leading to South Park to tell them to eat a bag of dicks. Well, yeah, because the Trump administration was upset at the first episode, and then they released the second episode making fun of ICE, and then ICE shared a picture of it, and it's like, oh wait, now we're relevant, because they were saying that they the White House administration, or the White House was saying that they were no longer relevant, but now they're sharing, I've already talked about it, but again, the episode should remain. Absolutely, the episode should remain.
I do with my body.
Okay, that's a terrible... I'm not even going to play that. The audio on that's garbage. But yeah, I recommend, if you can find the episode somewhere and you haven't seen it yet, I do recommend you go and watch it. Charlie Kirk would have wanted you to watch it. Charlie Kirk would have said it was a good episode. Thought it was awesome. I don't think it should be removed. I don't think we should blame them for any of this. They didn't have anything to do with it. I'm going to read some of your guys' chats before I move on from Charlie Kirk. I don't want the whole episode to be about Charlie today. I titled it today that we're going to have a civil discussion about news in the world, and I do want to do that. I have other stories that we'll be talking about. We'll jump to this next story that's really important. But before I do, let's, of course, read some of your guys' chats. Let me scroll up here. Let me see what you guys have been saying. What's up, son of Wiggum? He said, good to see you, Tyler. They've always told us this is who they were. This is disgusting, but ultimately unsurprising. So did anyone else just doom scroll Insta and Twitter and get a feel and the rage and flow? I want to see the Dems that yelled no and scream. I want to see their name. I want their names and the state, everything. Yeah, I agree. I've seen a lot of people saying, I can't be liberal anymore today. Yeah, I don't blame them. That is not something you want to associate with when you see a majority of people on that side saying that this was okay. So the voters know who they are and kick them out. Yep. Nasty motherfuckers. Yep. Mainly, see how many remember 24 years ago. Yep. And guys, it has now officially been 24 years since the 9/11 attacks. And it's really interesting to compare and contrast the country today to what I imagine it was then. I was born 7 months before the September 11th attacks on the Twin Towers. I was born 7 months before it. I don't have any recollection of the world at the time, but I grew up in that. And when I look at how I was growing up today to what the country is now, we are far, far more divided than we ever were in my life. This should have been a moment of unification. This should have been a moment we come together as a country and say that no one, regardless of their politics, should ever be killed for expressing those politics. But no. Only one side is saying it's wrong. And that's on the side of good. Not even talking about conservatives or Republicans. Because there's some conservatives and Republicans that are saying evil shit too. A lot of people trying to use his death as justification for whatever they want next. Be on the side of good. Don't be on the side of evil. The evil people want to use this and turn it into their, justification for their own agenda. Evil people are celebrating this and wishing for more of it. Don't be one of them. What's you guys saying? What's up, Xbox lad? Those disgusting people who need to be removed from office. Yep. Shouldn't have pulled it. No, they should not have pulled that episode. I mean, I think they should because it is kicking a dead horse. Like, it isn't funny anyway. Make funny things. South Park should be funny, not awful. Son of Wiggum, I actually have found this new season quite hilarious. I think this newest season has been absolutely fantastic. I did criticize the first episode of the season because it was pretty lazy. But now, having seen the subsequent episodes following that, I understand why they did it the way they did. They were just setting up for the other episodes. So, but no, I think you need to look at it objectively. South Park this season has been quite hilarious, and I think it's excellent that they're making fun of the Republicans. You know why? Because that means we're on top. They're making fun of us because we're on top. I'm fine with it. Especially when, the way they're doing it. It's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Laughing my ass off at that last episode with Labubu's and stuff. Oh my god. I thought South Park was actually pretty good to Charlie. I don't think they really made fun of him that much. No, if anything, they made him the star of the episode and just basically they made Cartman Charlie Kirk, and then Cartman just went around spreading facts. Like, if anything, the only thing they did to insult Charlie Kirk was have him portrayed by a fat kid. Like, that's the only way Charlie Kirk was insulted in that episode. Yeah, it is very hard to see that. He was a good man. Salutes from Switzerland. Well, thank you. I see what you did there, Wiggum. Let's see what else. I'd be teary-eyed with pride if I was depicted the way South Park did Charlie. No, it was hilarious. I thought what they did for Charlie was amazing, and they need to reinstate that episode. They need to put that back up. Tyler, you have no idea how true that is. I wish I knew what you were referencing. I said a lot of based things, I think. I was at work on 9/11. Jesus. Wait, hang on. Can you clarify that? Every year I watch a video that's a minute-by-minute timeline of the 4 hours on 9/11 in 2001. We are on top. We know we're no longer at the bottom. Yeah, and that's why they are making fun of us. We should be happy that South Park is targeting us in the way they are, because they didn't do it to Joe Biden. There was nothing to make fun of there. He did it himself. It's much like what the Babylon Bee talks about. It's incredibly hard to make fun of things that just kind of make fun of themselves. You know what I mean? Everyone's saying, oh, they just skipped 4 years of Biden. Well, maybe it was just too easy of a target. Has anyone considered that? Maybe they didn't want to do an episode about Joe Biden because he basically made fun of himself. It's too easy. But when Joe Biden was wandering around and Kamala was cackling, there were no jokes made. Yeah, but that, if anything, that should be an honor. Because think about it. They made fun of Obama. They now have, by the way, they have 3 depictions of Trump in the South Park universe. I was rewatching South Park, and Donald Trump appears in the earlier episodes, and their depiction of him, actually very nice, and they make his character look very good looking, as compared to the other South Park characters, you know. And then the second depiction is Mr. Garrison, because they didn't even want to depict the actual president, so they just had Mr. Garrison be Trump, and that was hilarious. And then now the new depiction is just Saddam Hussein pretending to be President Trump. By the way, for those of you that are not aware, President Trump in South Park this season is not President Trump. That is not Donald Trump. That has never been Donald Trump in the South Park universe. Those of you that think it is are just falling for the trick. The president in this episode, this season, is Saddam Hussein, and he's just pretending to be Trump. He's impersonating Trump. It'll be revealed later. And all credit goes to Melted Mind for putting that thought in my head, because it's absolutely true. It makes 100% sense. But no, they have 3 depictions of Donald Trump in the South Park universe, and the latest iteration of Donald Trump is not Donald Trump. They're just doing it to fuck with people. But the point I wanted to bring up, they skipped Obama, or sorry, they skipped Joe Biden. They skipped Kamala Harris. They didn't even talk about their administration. We shouldn't be upset that they didn't complain about their administration. When other generations go back to look at older South Park episodes, that just won't be there. That just shows how culturally irrelevant Joe Biden was. Be happy that Joe Biden was so culturally irrelevant that South Park wouldn't even make fun of him. You should be happy about it. I'm convinced Jill Biden is the worst wife in modern history. Absolutely. When they made Mr. Garrison into Trump, it was very funny. Absolutely. And then when they did it the first episode, they went and bust down Mr. Garrison's door, and they're like, "Are you not running the country like some Middle Eastern tin pot dictator?" And then he's like, "No, I've just been sitting here watching TV with Chris." He's like, "No, he hasn't been back to the White House. He's been very good." And then they had episodes of like him going through withdrawals, and like he had a relapse of going to rallies. Like, dude, it's funny. You guys should be happy that they're making fun of Trump because it just shows that we're culturally relevant. You should be happy they're making fun of Charlie Kirk. It shows that we're culturally relevant. Anyway, I think I've gone on a long enough spiel. Are we...